Whoa.
He did get his hair fixed.
We got all 7 people on right now. Oh, there goes.
Yeah,
13. I thought maybe someone trashed our reputation. Some new guy. It says Slade Triplet got on, new member, and I said, "Yeah, this guy right here, new member."
Yeah, you know who he is?
Oh,
He's probably the best friend that Cody King has. Period, bar none.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
I said, "Howdy, Slade. Well, welcome to the most dysfunctional hound show out there." Missy's on. Richard Fight from Phoenix. He's right. It's only 81 where I'm at, but I'm down south. He's up.
Yeah, it's hot here.
It's cold here.
Matt from Springerville's on. I feel like I haven't been on forever. You probably haven't. He came and visited me at my bear camp. He got his enduro back and he ran up there, and I think, did I give him a taco? I might give him some tacos. Maybe that's why it took so long to come over here.
Yeah, he's just now getting out of bed.
He's recovering.
Hello from Oklahoma. Troy Barber. I haven't seen him on this early in a long time. Rick Cooley's on. What's up, Hound Dogs?
Oh, Rick don't get the show.
That Benny guy's on. He'll probably run his mouth. Gila Hounds.
Hey,
He's here every week.
in the mood that I've been in the last day or two, I might run a few birds through the sky too.
Yeah.
It's a feather, Benny.
There's some drama. You
go.
I think things when you have, and I know a lot of nonprofits or people who do charity, they go through a lot of the stuff and you get misunderstandings. I was talking to Dustin about it today. How do you make things right when it's hard to make things right, to stand by your word? But some people make it difficult sometimes. And we'll just leave it at that, right, Benny?
That's very nice. Just leave it there.
Oh, Cody Barron's on. Hey, Cody, I'm down here in Maricopa. I get my stuff down here. We'll go run. We'll go run a line.
Look outside and see if you can see each other.
I know where he's at. He's way that way. He's out.
Blink the
He's
lights.
close to where I hunt. He's close.
That's it, because back in the day when Maricopa was cotton fields and John Wayne's feedlot, you could see everybody from where you were.
Oh, yeah. I knew Bruce Johnson. I knew Lewis Johnson. You know, I heard a lot of stories about Lewis Johnson. I think Bruce Johnson was the first one to sell out in Maricopa for like $2 million for his 40 acres. It wasn't a big spot, but he was one of the first ones. Scott Thomas. I text you, Scott. Wait, that's the wrong. No, that's the right one. Yep. He's the one that runs. He's the one that. He's the one that runs. Thoughts of a Dog Man. I asked him. I said, "Hey, you ready to get back on?" I think he's afraid to answer because I'll send him a link.
Hey,
what else?
That brisket. In fact, my first wife and I just moved 6-gallon bags of brisket to the outside freezer in the saddle house. So you just come by during the day and don't worry about the Pyrenees. If you don't bother the stock, you'll be all right. Just share the brisket.
He only pushes your wife down.
Oh my gosh. And then she fell out of the food trailer tonight and asked over a tea kettle, and I thought, here we go again.
I hope you were on the phone with me at that time where you got blamed for it. I got blamed for it.
Did it look like Brett and the horse ride?
Oh, no, she kept all her shoes on.
No, she stayed upright.
Well, that's good. At least she didn't get hurt or nothing.
Yeah, she's pretty banged up. We'll see tomorrow.
She's going to beat you up, Benny.
I've been finally for wrestling.
Bone Pile put something up there that's true. I'm definitely the most dysfunctional viewer of this show.
Even a broken clock right twice a day, you know what I mean?
Good grief. So Bone Pile must not be drinking beers today. He's making sense.
Don't get him going.
I think he drinks moonshine, Benny.
I think he drinks turpentine.
Drink 2 bottles of moonshine and cure it.
I've got some candied moonshine that I haven't drank. He gets some of it. All you got to do is sniff that. It cleans out behind your eyeball sockets.
Does moonshine go bad? I got mine in the refrigerator from 2 years ago.
There's no way moonshine goes bad.
Or a
They
year
don't go bad. Maybe some of that
No.
fruity stuff they make, but not the real McCoy.
I
No.
tasted it. It doesn't-
Mine wasn't cut. That stuff that showed up a year ago, it wasn't cut.
Hey, can you make a margarita out of
Yes.
moonshine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus
Do it.
Christ! Look, Derek,
You're
right
welcome.
on it. Yes.
Hey, I growed up on that. I growed up on that shit, bud.
Really? I've
Yeah.
been kind of in the.
Jeremy?
I bought some margarita stuff, and I've been getting my wife drunk as much as I can. And even tonight, she goes, "How you make my margarita? I need one tonight."
Richard, he's doing fine.
How is your hound? What's the matter with that hound?
Well, the other night I was hunting him and
Oh, I seen that video, and
he come back and he had blood all down his chest and front legs and bleeding out of his mouth. And I'm like, what in the world got a hold of you? And then I loaded him up, and before I could get back there and shut the gate, boy, he jumped out and down the road he ran. I had to tone him to get him come back. Come find out he bit his tongue.
oh,
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
better than other alternatives. That's good.
But I went down to check on him the next morning to make sure, it wasn't a snake bite. And he had a 1-inch locust thorn right in his ankle.
Oh shit.
And it took my wife and I an hour to get it out.
knock on wood, but I've been pretty lucky on where I've hunted. I think the worst I've never had an impalement. I've had some dogs fall off a cliff, and I've lost some dogs later where they busted up their liver or something and swelled up.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had an impalement. A choya is probably the worst I've had. So I've been pretty lucky. I've had more impalements on my horse than old Ike, my old horse. I remember walking out there and it was late. We didn't get home till late and it was dark and I had a flashlight feeding. And his back leg, I could see like some gunk coming out of his knee and a little tiny stick like this sticking out of his knee. I pulled him out. I grabbed a pair of channel locks, grabbed it, and he would pull his own leg back. So I just held it and he pulled back. And that sucker was 6 inches in his knee. I mean, it was deep in there. And I'm like, holy crap. That horse never missed a step.
That's about how long these locust thorns normally are. And I normally have to get them cut out. If you can ever get it to twist, it'll pull right out. But getting it to twist is
I definitely
another
miss
thing.
my old vet who would give me a bottle of Rompum. Half cc and your dogs are out. So good old days are gone.
He's pretty tough. He screamed and hollered a little bit, but
What's your worst energy? What's your worst injury, Jeremy, out there in Louisiana? I mean, those locusts are pretty nasty, but
I don't know. I broke a dog's leg. He got hung on that cable on my tailgate, and it snapped his leg, and I had to get chewed up by a bear
Have you ever lost one to alligator?
when I was younger.
Oh, now you just fight the alligator.
yeah, now he just elbow. Haven't you seen Happy Gilmore?
He just ropes them, drags them out.
Yep.
No, I generally try to steer clear of big water this time of the year. I'm fortunate, and I have a place where my neighbor has a big pond where the biggest alligators maybe 4 foot, maybe.
So when are you safe over there? The safest?
December and January.
Yeah,
February.
our winter.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about rattlesnakes too. Every once in a while, you'll get them stray rattlesnakes out late. Or out
Today
early.
it was 47 this morning, and it was like 75 by 2 o'clock. and they were everywhere. We counted 6 on one log, and these were all big gators. I mean, they were all over 8 foot.
So do they feed up real good before they don't hibernate, but
Yeah, they hibernate.
do they hibernate?
Yeah.
Fully hibernate, or do they just
Yeah. I mean, they'll come back out if it warms up over a certain temperature, but the water's got to be a certain temperature.
So it's kind of like a bear a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Like a broom. I don't know what they call it for alligators, like a brumation.
It's an actual hibernation for the alligators.
Oh.
And if they get caught on the bank overnight or whatever, and the temperature drops real quick, they'll actually be hibernating on the bank. They won't move, won't wiggle.
Can't move.
Mm-mm.
Does that happen quite a bit?
No, not really, because it don't get as cold as it used to.
There you go.
Kimmer Kerr.
I think this is a Scott Thomas. It's the one the other day I confused somebody for him.
I'd make him trashy, Scott.
Oh, Scott Thomas. I'm thinking of Steve Thomas. My bad.
He'd run rabbits like the rest of my dogs.
He needs it.
Hey, you should have been out there the other weekend, man. Rabbits the size of some of your dogs.
Yeah, they'd had fun if they'd found some jackrabbits while I was out there.
Sure.
What about you, Derek?
What? Worst injury?
Yeah. Besides windburn, because they're so fast.
No.
Heat stroke from all the hair.
No, I'd say never. I've been pretty lucky. Worst one I ever had, either a dog fight or I did have a team go through ice one time. And there was a couple of them was pretty hypothermic. That was scary.
Benny? Hey, ice is no joke. I have that problem with Labradors because when they break the ice, they can go out like labs. You're out hunting on ice for ducks or geese, and they'll get out there. But sometimes if that ice is too thin, they just keep breaking it and they can't get on top. And there's been times where I start stripping down and like, oh man, come on, please make it. But
I had to go swimming that day. I was in there with paper cutters and had to cut the gang line and get them out. That was scary.
Yep.
That 2 of them females, them bitches never got right for a while. I mean, it was a couple weeks before they were back right. I didn't know if they was going to pull out of it.
Benny?
I've lost 3 dogs to heat stroke, but not while I was hunting them. While they were on a chain somewhere. And, it was an odd deal. I had a pup die in my lap as I was spooning cold water across his body, trying to cool it down.
Alcohol, right? Isn't that what they say to do?
Yeah, but all I had was a garden hose.
Yep.
Well, Casey says I'll give a dog water poisoning. Because I'm forcing dogs water.
But I had my horses a couple miles down the road in somebody's farm pasture, and they were gone. And I found all but my stick horse. And I went to looking, and I didn't find him for 3 days. So I just figured somebody stole him. And I found him one day. I saw him when I was leaving the house. I just happened to look right up the kind of little draw towards the west, southwest, and I thought that was him standing out there. And I went and looked, and sure enough, he was standing there, all drawn up in gant. He had gone. I don't know how they got out. They went through the fence, through the gate, or whatever. They must have been coming home, and probably a semi coming through the highway in the night blared their horn or made them all run like hell. And he went across a T-post in the fence and took his shoulder and cut him clear. He had that long of a gash on him, and it was about 8 inches deep. That took a while to get through. That wasn't a hound. I had a young hound get kicked by a rancher's horse and broke his leg. And because I didn't know any good vets and I didn't want to put up with any BS, I waited too long before I found a good vet. And so I gave that pup away.
You know, I've never fixed a broken leg on a dog, and I've never had a dog healer jumped out of the truck, broke his leg. It was my son's. He did take him to the vet. You know, your generations get softer. The vet said, "Well, I can pin it for 900, but let it heal." I ran over a dog with a dually, same thing, just healed up. And
Oh,
he didn't limp or nothing.
This pup, it was down low where all those bones and everything are, and
Yeah.
so it just messed it all up. I forgot too, way back when I was coon hunting, and there was 3 or 4 of us, all had 200 dogs apiece, and a bonehead brought a damn bird dog with us that night.
Mm.
And that bird dog was just running scatterbrained everywhere and just ran off of a bluff on the Salt River. I mean,
That sounds
smooth
like
ass off the bluff.
he didn't have my last name, did it?
Not the dog or the guy, I don't know. But
Either one.
I
I
had
got
a
some
pup.
idiots like that.
I had a pup that was a Powder River pup. It's the only registered dog, paper dog I've ever had. And that bird dog started yelling as soon as it hit the bottom. And so my pup goes storming off and off into the abyss. And it was about a 130, 140 foot drop. The only thing that saved my pup's life was it landed on that bird dog. But by the time we got down there, my pup was all busted up. She got a pin in her hip and everything, but she turned out to be my best lion dog. When I moved to New Mexico, she was leading the pack. She was very slow too. I could keep up with her.
Yeah.
Well, this one, he's pretty quick. It broke his back leg up high, and they just put a pin in it.
Yep.
But he's one you want when there's a fight that needs to happen.
I had a red bone and ridgeback cross like that. And nobody and nothing ever took that dog. Never.
That was
This
kind of
one-
like my yucky dog.
This
I might
one
try it.
kind of acts like Chris.
Lucky. He just gets lucky.
Very, very lucky.
I got lucky. Hey, before we get going on hounds, I'm just gonna tell some stories here about some lucky. I was lucky, and Derek came up elk hunt, and I just got lucky again, and put him on. I don't know, 2, 3, 4 herds of 40, 20 elk, and it might have been my gun was off. I don't know. Didn't look like it was off when we shot it at a target, but he did accidentally miss some. He wasn't so lucky.
Let me ask you a question. How in the hell do you miss an elk?
Well, the first time,
Listen,
the gun
no. In his
misfired.
defense, it was 35 yards. So I mean, it did miss. I have
Muzzle
never,
loader?
no, yeah, in line, right? And I have never in my life, years and years since 2010, hunting this area with inlines, at least the last 10 years, I had a 209 misfire, a 209 primer. It literally went poof.
And then
I never had
the
it happen.
one,
And it
the one I
happened.
just,
It happened to this guy right here.
Yeah. The one I misjudged. I look at it. We jump out of the truck. They're running broadside. I jump out, 80 yards, run, point of the shoulder, bang, shoot straight under because the elk's a lot bigger than the deer that was in my brain hole. I never seen elk up close like that before. I misjudged the size of it. It was probably 160 yards. I got right under it.
This is
And
how close he was. I'm watching the golf course, looking to see if they're coming across, and he goes, "Oh hell, they're right in front of us. They're crossing the road." And I said, "Hey, you can shoot on either side right here. Just make sure you're not shooting across the road." Yep.
yeah,
I'll make you feel better, Derek. I drove 30 hours and missed a mule deer.
it's crazy. It was a rough weekend though.
Well,
Deal.
and my elk hunting is kind of like, well, my coyote hunting's crazy too, but It's not a sit in the stand kind of hunt where I'm at, and you have to be real meticulous on where you shoot. I mean, 10 feet over, literally like across the road, you're not no good. So, and I've been hunting it forever, so I know all the sweet
The
spots.
golf course.
Yep.
Did he use your golf course gun?
No, I didn't have it with me. That's why.
That's why I missed.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and then we chased him and caught up to him again, and we just. Oh, you shot at that one. It was more of a.
Yeah,
running
that's the one I misjudged. The range on shot under it.
Yep.
And then after that, they were just pretty squirrely. And I probably blowed 4 stalks, wind all swirly, and never hunted elk.
Well, the next day we went out and caught him again. Well, we caught one bull.
Yeah.
And we didn't see no other elk, cows. Those cows came out. It was a cow hunt. Those cows came out way before this bull did. But this bull, it was his cows because he was kind of letting us know where he was. And I drove up and over a ridge, and we should have walked up and over a ridge because I didn't think they were going to be that far. So, but then we tried to cut them off, come back down and cut them off, and no clue where they went after that.
Smoke.
Derek got a hard lesson in hunting elk and cedars.
Yeah. They disappeared. And then one day, midday, I walked in. Chris said, I don't walk for cows. I was like, well, I got to do something,
Well, he had to do something. Wait, you had to walk because he blew the transmission on his truck, lost reverse and first.
Yeah. It took days to fix and 4 attempts, and it's still like, I don't got first or reverse, so that's good time. But I walked in there to get on them, and I found just a place where it looked like a deer trail back east, how much they've been crossing this fence in one spot. And I sit up on that and just sit. The wind's good all day, and then I hear elk bugle, and he bugles again. He's closer, and they're coming. I'm like, oh, this is good. And the wind starts swirling, and they winded me, and they passed me 40 yards away, and I couldn't shoot nothing but the tops of their head. Cedars just,
Yeah,
I was like, why didn't you
pretty
take a
thick
headshot?
country. That's still pretty thick country.
Well,
Yeah.
so I take him to a house I want to buy, and we're looking at it, and I said, oh, hell, let's shoot that rifle. Let's see where you're hitting. And he shot, and it was hitting some reason way left. I was like, well, there's your problem. I shot, and it hit right. No.
Yeah,
left.
right and high, or he left and high, yeah.
So we went back to the house, and he was going to go out the next day, and I said, well, let's adjust that sight maybe first.
Well, I've seen you shoot before, so I mean, you have a good excuse.
And then
it wasn't my gun.
Where the sight bent.
And then when I loaded the loaded the gun, it hit dead on. So
hey, rubber bullets, you ain't killing my elk in this damn. So we loaded again. I said, I don't think I shot yours. I said, here, let me shoot yours and make sure it's not just your gun and how I have it set. So we went in my backyard and shot an air conditioning thing. I put a little mark on it, and it hit just a little high. I'm like, dude, that's right on. And he shot it again, and it was right on. So I don't know what happened, magnetic field or alien underground bunker where we were.
I think it was just the high speed wildness of it. I mean, we pull up, slam the brakes, jump out, run down there. You
just get across the road, Derek. Just get across the road. You were good.
That sounds like the same thing he did to me, Derek. He took me to the deer pen instead of where the lions and the bears were.
Yeah.
See,
and
you'll never hunt my lion. And then he walks off 100 yards from camp and finds a lion track. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good time, but
no, we had a good time. He learned how I hunt elk, and it ain't I guess it's kind of archaic with the modern twist. Is about it.
Yeah, it was a good time though. It was
a good time.
Yeah.
You never come hunting with me, Mr. Gila Hounds. Most people hunt with me elk.
I don't know. My 100% of my elk hunting has been a good fucking time. It was fun.
I took a veteran hunter and he had a bow. It was an archery. It was archery. I think it was a cow too. It was a donated
I
tag.
wish I would have pulled my bow out of the truck that morning.
You
It
probably
would have been
should've.
over.
And then, so there's this one area, and I said, listen, if we see these elk, it's off another golf course, and they come off the back of it. And I said, those look like fresh tracks. I said, let's go back across the pond. But when you're going across this field, if you see them over in the cedars, you have to. I literally told the guy, I said, listen, this ain't how you're supposed to archery hunt, but hang on. And I got down, got the road, come across this field where they cross. And if you cut them off, they'll come behind you. And usually when you pass them, they'll stop. And man, those elk didn't stop. They beelined it and beat us across that field. But just got to know how to hunt them in the area.
And then
Man,
if
they
you
got
jump
used
out,
to you.
if you jump out of the truck and the truck keeps going, they'll stand there and look at the truck for like a
I know.
good 30 seconds.
I said, listen,
So-
just slide out. I'm going to keep going. And that's what we did the second day. I said, just get out. And I kept going, and they were up on a ridge. I mean, they were skylined, and they
Yeah.
were watching me drive off. He just couldn't get. I said, you should have took that shot. It was probably closer than you thought.
It was skylined and hair far, and it's not a real safe shot.
Well, where
They were acting like they were going to come right down the wash by me, so I just tucked into a cedar, and then they just went down the ridge away from us.
They wanted to cross the field, and I thought if he just got out and stood, I've done it 1,000 times. I kick somebody out, I don't even stop. Like, you have to just get out, leave the door open. I don't give a shit, and they'll get out, stand by a cedar, and you pass them. And most of the time, and they wanted to come down and over, and I didn't hear a shot. And I didn't hear a shot. I said, well, maybe he shot, and I didn't hear it. So I stayed up there, 10, 15 minutes, and I come back, and I'm like, hell, his phone's in the truck. All the reloads are in the truck. So I grabbed another rifle to take it to him in case he did shoot. But no, they boogied on out of there. It was fun.
Yeah,
Besides the transmission.
Yeah, that.
Oh. Let me tell you about the transmission. I go, where you at? He goes, I'm by Turkey Mountain. I said, can you see it? And he said, yeah. I said, all right, I'll go over there. And I go over there. I get my trailer. Couldn't get the winch to work. Finally got the winch to work. Had a loose wire. I said, you got to turn those tires straight. He walks over to get in the truck. Truck's running, right? The doors are locked. So he locked himself out of the.
So we had to break into the truck.
Now I know why Derek's always mad. Because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to Derek.
Yes, sir.
So we had to break into the truck with I had a crowbars. Oh,
yeah, fencing pliers. He pried it open.
Fencing pliers. We pulled the door open and got it wedged, and we had an antenna.
Yeah, one of them hot dog cooker sticks, metal things down in there, and hit the door lock.
Oh, wait, and then he's out there, and I'm like, hey, are you camping out? He said, yeah. And then I didn't see the text later. I think I went to bed early. I don't even know what it was. But I wake up morning and see a text that says, I have to sleep in my truck because he didn't have a sleeping bag because it got took out of a tote. So I had to waste half a tank of gas, keep him warm. I said, well, here's a sleeping bag. I got a trailer, just crashing the trailer.
I'm telling you, if it can happen, it'll happen to me.
It was probably one of the most miserable fun times he's ever had.
That's true.
Hey, but just think of the story you can tell now. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
I mean,
how many guys?
That and he got fed. We had my mom's birthday party, so he got big old plate of spaghetti. So, yep.
It's all good after you live through it.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
I'm still trying to figure out how in the heck I climbed that back up that mountain me and Casey went down. I'm still shaking my head.
Yep. I'm so tired of guiding elk hunters, I could throw up. Only 2 more weeks of elk hunters. That's why I would rather just do a free hunt with somebody where there's no expectations than to take, like Jeremiah said right here, glorified babysitting rich dudes that expect to shoot one from the beat cool. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, and that's the worst. Oh, there he is. He's sitting down there. There you go. Yeah, so
Crazy.
doubt it. But get out of there. Let me see. If you get
There you go, Benny.
if you get out of
Tim.
the truck, keeps going, that is called an Oklahoma sneak. Uh,
Oh,
We
God.
call it a drive-by.
yeah.
Hey, Benny, Tim B's got you some puppies. He's trying to get you back into it out of the food truck.
I actually have 2 people looking for some good-blooded pups right now. I'm a
What?
broker.
We're still
I'm a
trying to
has-been.
find pups,
I'm a
or we're
has-been.
still, are we still trying to find a maid dog, lion dog,
For who? I need one.
Cody?
For Cody?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't know
no,
if
he's supposed to go. He's supposed to go hunting with the clumps.
I tried to trick him and tell him, and I said, "Hey, if you're bored, come on." But he didn't come on, so he probably last time he got all riled up.
Well, he may not be there. Last I knew, he's in Mexico hunting lions.
He probably is. He probably is.
Didn't he say he was going to take the English photographer down there?
That is in November.
That's a different deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a Jaguar deal.
Yeah.
Benny,
Brett's supposed to go on that.
you wouldn't be as busy probably with hounds as you are as that food truck.
Oh my God!
He'd have to have
You
the
know-
food truck to feed the hounds.
Hell, no, but a rancher over here that I hunted with a lot, and he called me out of the blue, and he said, "You know, I've been trying to get by with these dogs, and I haven't had any good dogs since those last ones I had from you." So he said, "Work, you know, I haven't made the phone calls yet, but then this neighbor over here of mine, I told him that I'd help him get with some lion dogs." So,
You know that
and
buggy has a back seat, Benny.
well,
We can cage that
I
thing in.
I still got some mules out here I'm feeding.
We can train that Pyrenees to do something.
I'm
That Pyrenees has turned into a Navajo because every day we come home with extra fry bread, he says, "Hey, shit, man, give me some of that bread over there."
Yate.
and I'm gonna have to come off one of these hair dogs. That new Corellian I got ain't working out, so I'm gonna have to move him. He just keeps fighting my gray dog. You know, just too many males in a pack ain't gonna work.
Well, you're kind of in the spot too, Derek, that you have to keep them in the house a lot because you got neighbors. Do you keep them outside more in the summer or in the winter?
No, they can't be outside. I could do that, Jeremy, but then that defeats the purpose of having him because then, what's the point? There. But
Yeah,
if
see-
anybody, if anybody like he'd be a great dog back east, I think if guy could walk him into bears and get him really, really going. He's been to 2 bear trees. He's been in a lion bay, and he's been on 3 or 4 bobcat trails they didn't catch. But
What kind
he's
of
gonna
dog
be
is that?
a Corellian bear dog. I mean, he's big. He's got bottom. He's gonna be a 1-man show for a guy once he's ready. That was the plan, but just
So back in the day, what was the name of those DVDs that not the ones that
Warriors?
Brett took from me? No,
Oh,
not the Warriors
not-
of Agato. The there was some before that showed some of those like Brett Bunger and all them guys. You remember that? Those guys around Phoenix. Richard Fight should pipe in. He probably knows.
Richard Fight will know what it is. I bet you he'll come up with an answer.
But anyway, I would watch those, and I would let my lead dog in the house, and he'd just sit there in the living room and run around in circles, sit down and because he could tell those dogs was treeing. And so maybe Derek, you need to get some kind of bear hunting movies and videos, and you can, since the dogs are in the house, you can get them out like that.
I can't watch that shit on the TV. They don't. They're just right there with it. It's awful. I got to watch it on the headphones. My kid likes to watch Kirk Price all the time, and
It don't work on the nose, Benny.
No,
Yeah.
but it gives them. You got to start. It's in form of a subliminal imprint.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna make a good dog. He just wants to fight my gray dog too much, and I'm just gonna. I thought he was gonna be young enough. I was gonna get around it, but they're kind of known for not being friendly to other dogs, and it's just people possession is all it is. It always happens right around me or the missus. Like I don't know. He don't win, but like the gray dog whoops him. But it's getting worse and worse, and
It's gonna get to a point where
Well,
you
I just
ain't gonna be able to break it up.
yeah.
I think you're in a bad spot, Derek. I think you need to move. You know that.
Yeah, but I mean, this
It-
last one happened. We was out
Yeah.
trailing, and they started fighting. I reached down and he reached down and petted the one dog, and the other dog was standing too close, and it was on.
Yeah, Ben, I can tell you, I can read Benny's mind. If they fight, get rid of them.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't like dogs that fight.
I've got two that'll fight in the box.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty bad at Casey's, but
Benny was the last name Mast.
No, one of those deals. Brent Bunger. Brent Bunger was one of those hunters that
Do I have
was
his
on
number?
one of those.
And yeah, I mean, I don't like a fighting dog either, but I can't be mad at the gray dog. That big black monster bites him. He turned around and give him some. I can't be mad at that. But
You know what I learned?
That Corellian just wants it all the time. He keeps losing, so he wants to go again. He's just not going to work.
What you need?
What I got going on.
You need a short shovel handle, and you need to wade in there and knock the shit out of both of them and knock it off. And every time one of them looks crooked at the other one, knock the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I don't
riding crop.
No. If they're going to be to that extent right now, it's going to take something drastic to get their attention because they're developing a hatred.
Yeah,
you've got to wade in.
The other one.
And you've got to wade into the fray and say, "Hey, I don't care what you guys think. I'm the one running the show." And that's if you look at coyotes or any wild dogs out there. That's how the pack runs.
Oh, I got two coyotes to quit fighting one time. We was out coyote hunting, and I seen the most Tasmanian devil fight. I thought it was a dust devil at first, and I mean, there's like trash flying and dust, and it was two coyotes. It was breeding season, but it was two coyotes. I'm talking going at it bad.
Looking for.
And I learned if you shot one of them, they quit fighting. And the other one runs off, and if you shoot them, they won't ever fight again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because now what's there to fight about? The argument.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. I had a cattle prod, and answer me this: do you think this is almost hereditary? Like not hereditary, but I carried a cattle prod in my truck at all times. When I first started out, I would use it when you're throwing all these dogs in the box and they get in a fight. I'd zap them with that cattle prod to the point where if they got in a fight and I stopped the truck, they went to the opposite side of the truck that I was going to. So they knew what was going to happen. But I haven't carried a cattle prod in 10 years. I mean, is it just because I've done it through that whole generation to where they just quit fighting? No. Like the older dogs didn't fight in the box. So it didn't, the younger ones really did. I get a fight every once in a while. But nothing, I don't just, I can yell at the window and say, you better stop it. And you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. That's what I think.
The biggest difference probably, Chris, is you're not a young houndsman anymore. And you've learned how to manipulate the pack in a different manner. You have more authority now than you had back then. And it's just
more the alpha.
Yeah.
Than just a dog. Some guy has dogs.
Hey, we all started out pretty retarded and upside down. How can you get thrown into something? Like Cody, he had Reuben, and there's some people out there like that. But for the most of us, we just went into this deal full force. Let's surround ourselves with 10 dogs and see how retarded we can act.
Yeah. I'm
I
sure if them
still act
dogs.
retarded, Benny. I didn't grow out of it.
I think we always make mistakes because you get a line of dogs and then that's how you've been doing it, and then all of a sudden you bring in the old outcross or something, or try something different, and it kind of throws you for a loop.
I think the ones that I didn't, bring up as a puppy are the ones I have the most problems out of.
Sure,
Yep.
because they don't know how to respond to you.
I've got a gyp that's a little standoffish, but I got her at 6 months old. I've got a almost 2-year-old gyp that I got not long ago, and I mean she minds well. I mean she's got a good handle. She's got some manners that I don't like.
This deal right here, and I don't care what their age is, that deal right there cuts all dominant behavior out of them sons of bitches every last time.
You're right.
Yeah.
Another way to do that is leave the nuts somewhere else.
Yeah.
Hunt females.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not going to stop all the dog fights, but it'll stop a lot of them.
Yeah, that's what I've always hunted females, and I tried these males. They've all gave me trouble. It's just, and I don't know. I thought I was going to get this guy, and that's going to be the future, and it ain't worth it. If I cut him, what's the point? You know what I mean? I ain't got enough time anymore. It's like he's going really, really good. He's starting good. He's going to be good, but not for
my
me.
thoughts on it.
He'll suit somebody that wants to hunt one better. Somebody up north about him.
On a dominant type fighting, want to be the king. It's going to start with dogs, and it's eventually graduate. It's either going to be you or a kid.
Yep, and that's why I can't take the chance of it because I got little ones. It ain't worth it. He might, sled dogs. A lot of my sled dogs were like that. They might take a shot at it every once in a while. I can't have that around here with these little ones or the midgets or somebody get cut all to pieces. It ain't worth it to catch an extra 2-3 bears with a hair dog, It ain't. He's gonna go, and we'll have to stop pushing limits on breeds that are known for things, That's my being stupid. I thought, that's somebody I could do better than those guys. Well,
that's like as Malin was. They're gonna try you eventually.
So
that kind of segues. Go ahead, Vinny.
I was just going to say they'll all try you at some point. My Pyrenees has been here since he was a little guy, and he knows the rules. And so I threw some fry bread out there for him, and I threw some to the chickens. One piece of the chickens, and I catch him. He went over there, ran the chickens off. He just couldn't stand it. And so I went outside and walked him down, and I'm in my socks. And he just keeps looking at me, and my wife keeps watching, and I just keep walking him down. I said, keep tailing, I'll kick your ass. I'll kick your ass. And he just stays away, and he stays away. And when I turn around and come back to the house, he decides he's going to come back. I spun around, and he decided, no, he'll go to the other side and stay out of sight. So that's just him trying, hey. And it didn't come to blows, but we've come to blows early in life, and I pinned him in the dirt. And so go ahead, Chris.
Well, that segues into the whole image of a houndsman too, because someone listening right now is like, oh, they're mean, but I tell you what, and I raised my kids the same. I always say the first 2 years of childhood, you have to kind of be really strict, so they realize what a consequence is.
Yeah.
The same with a dog. I had a little puppy, and I seen that guy say bite him. I had a little puppy. I grabbed the back, and he turned around and tried to bite me, and I barked loud and grabbed him and I bit him on his nose, and like aggressively. And that was the last time he did it. And they're animals, right? But it's no different. They're all going to try you. A horse tries you. A cow tries you. A dog tries you.
That's what their mama would do to them, Chris.
Yeah. And a rooster will try you. I've played golf with a shovel on a rooster.
Yeah. Broom handles work wonderful.
Dog
leash. snake sticks,
Yep.
410 shotguns, dumpling pot. They work all good. I got one
Yeah.
that's pushing the limits right now.
So
You know what I do with my rooster? Every now and then, I just walk over there by him and kick him. So I guess I'm mean. But he gives me a lot of swath. So the grandkids came in one night. Oh, sure enough, he was bleeding on his leg. That rooster flogged him. And I said, so, and everybody says, well, shoot the rooster. Shoot. No, 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 no. You don't shoot the rooster. You look into this deal. And so
What were y'all doing to the rooster?
he went out there and fed the chickens. And then the rooster kind of bowed up to him a little bit. So he kicked at the rooster and turned around and left. Hauled ass. He ran. So he said, you want to fight? Let's go. And then took off. And I said, let's go. Let me get. So I go out there to the wood pile and I got some limbs, all 5 foot limbs, about 2 inches in diameter that came off of a pecan tree that we're using for kindling. And I said, pick one of those up and go over there and knock the shit out of that rooster. What? No, hit him. Whack him. You're not going to hurt him. You're not going to just whack him. You're 6 years old. You're not going to kill the rooster. Smack him. And man, that rooster went to running. And I said, chase him. Run him down just like he did you. I said, now leave those sticks there. And if that rooster ever acts that way, pick that stick up and don't just threaten him. Whack him. And those kids don't have any more trouble with that rooster, not one bit.
Yep. And it ain't no different than your kids, right? If the rooster's out in his area, you go in his area, you got 2 kids, and one of the kids goes in the other kid's room, it's a fight. Get out of my room, throw a shoe, whatever the deal. And no different. No different.
I don't know how many times I've knocked my rooster out.
Yeah.
He'll run up behind me and tag me while I'm on the phone or something, and he just gets smacked with whatever. I think the last time I hit him with a concrete board.
And it's no different than a houndsman, right? Someone's in your area.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
It's really no different, and that's where, so I got it named Trophies, Trash, and Hounds, and I want to talk about trophies because
I'm the trash.
Well, Chris Powell talked about trophies, and he was talking about trophy hunting, and we shouldn't be afraid of it, and he thinks everybody should talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it for the next few minutes. And they were talking about trophies as something you had to shoot or collect or whatever, but when you think about it, your trophies are, even your dogs are a trophy.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like your dogs are your trophies just as much. So if your dogs are treeing, just because I didn't kill the bear, my trophy that day is my dogs. So it's not just the killing part or the harvesting or the hunting, whatever you want to call it to appease everybody, but your trophies as well are your dogs, your truck. I've taken
watching that pup go from nothing to something. That's the trophy.
That for a houndsman, that's a big trophy, and then when they tree, that live bear is a trophy. So, and I get it. Chris Powell was saying we need to talk about it, and he's right. I don't think we need to show everything. You can respectfully
that's my Arizona trophy edit. Right there.
Yep. that black rattlesnake?
Yeah. That's a 6-footer.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, there's so many things you call trophy, and what Chris Powell's talking about is trophy. The word trophy has been manipulated, and they've used it as a bad word.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about trophy hunting, they put it all over everything. So their pamphlets say trophy hunters, and they I'm trying to think of a good word for, like, demoralize, or they defamate. They like defamation of character is what we should sue them for.
Yeah,
calling us trophy hunters, because
the experience can be the trophy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Said.
I mean, the experience, I mean, just how many folks coon hunt? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't near about as many as used to be. And most of them aren't pleasure hunters or competition hunters. How many folks line hunt? There's more now than there used to be, right, Benny?
But there ain't
Oh, man.
everybody.
Well, almost everybody tries.
Well, social media has made it boom, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't get to go traverse a mountain where I coon hunt. Now, if you're over, you know, on the East Coast, yeah, they've got mountains. But I mean, that's exactly right, Scott Thomas. It's
Yep.
in the eye of the beholder, and it can be any aspect of it. It don't have to be the killing of some animal, or you know, it can be the dog's progression. It can be the hunt itself.
Yeah, if we was concerned if killing was the trophy, we wouldn't do it with a pack of dogs. It's a lot easier.
I'd be
It's a lot
a
easier
spot.
to-
You know
Yeah,
what my
it's a-
best trophy is? If I go hunting and everything works like it's supposed to. You know, nobody craps in the box. You know, I actually tree gain. I don't have any trash races. Nothing breaks down. That's the trophy.
So
Yeah, if
what
it's
you guys are
a
talking
lot easier.
about is the need to fight back. Because what
Yep.
happens is we let the enemy, the other side, which it's easy just to call them the enemy. They steal our words, they steal our passion, and they turn it and use it against us in a bad connotation. If we would fight back and keep our trophy and keep our words and say, yeah, it doesn't matter. Here's a 6x6 bull elk hanging on the wall right here. That's a trophy. I got him right there in the Jemez Mountains in New Mexico, but I also ate him. So
Well,
just because I have his head on the wall saying, here's my trophy, that doesn't mean that that's all that elk hunt was about. That elk hunt was in a freaking snowstorm part of the time, and I was sweating trying to get that thing out at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, all kinds of stuff goes in, but until we take back our own languages and
our
our
word.
own words, yeah, in this case, the word trophy, and say, yeah, I got a trophy. It's hanging on the wall, but you should have tasted that trophy when I had a steak or a roast or some ground round or, whatever.
I
We made
think Seth.
fajitas out of it.
Or a 12-year-old taco.
I think just as good. I think Seth Hall was talking about that too, and I think they were saying, "Hey, quit trying to make excuses and say, oh, we eat it." That's kind of a.
Yeah,
He's kind of right. It's a cop out,
Yep.
but it's the truth. Me, I'm a meat hunter. If you said 6 point, if it was a spike even up there, you still had the
sure.
trophy of the experience, right? You collected that experience. What is the definition of a trophy? Something that collected or
I think it's a reward collected for an activity to signify an accomplishment or something. Yeah.
yes,
It's an achievement.
it's an achievement, and that the problem today is we give out trophies for everything. So the trophy part of it doesn't mean as much anymore in that aspect. And I was talking to Dustin today, and I said, Dustin, I haven't done nothing for AWDA. We got people who gave us money. We got a little chunk of money sitting in there, but what can I do for line hunting? It's already legal to line hunt. It's already legal to use dogs. But to take that word back, and it just really kind of hit me in the last few minutes we were talking about this, to take that word and make it something else. Because trophy's not the N word. It's not a derogatory word. It's been turned into a derogatory word. So we have to take the language back. And I just like brainstormed a bunch of stuff right now of what we need to do. And I really don't want to say it on here because there's people in here watching. Like my computer's set up a little different than everybody else's because I use it for my PI thing. So there's people in here that are logged in from Tucson. So, and they don't use they don't use another IP address. I'm just gonna say that. So they don't use a VPN.
Well, just like we got people in their meetings, they got people in ours.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you know,
So, but I just kind of had some ideas about that, and basically, I mean, the root of it is how do we take that word back? And I know how. And I took a guy hunting that's a principal of a grade school. I think K-8 or K-6, and that's where you start. Cody Lynn has some puppies which I tried to give Derek, but he was scared of his wife. Oh, and then his wife called me bad luck. Just to throw this out here real quick, because last time he came with me, he had a dog die, and then he came up with me again, and they had another dog die. So it's my fault, everybody. I'll just take the blame. I blew the tranny. I killed his dog. I forgot his sleeping bag. But his trophy on this hunt was he had somebody to help him out. He had a place to stay, and his main trophy was a big pile of spaghetti. You know what I mean? Like, he had that, and to me, and we talked about me being lucky this weekend. He got lucky. I was home. I had an extra trailer, and I had extra food, and the memories, the experience was his trophy this time. He got to see an elk. He's never been up on elk where you can reach out and pet him. He's never got to miss an elk. I mean, shoot at an elk. So, I mean, it's just, we have to take that word back. And I do think I have an idea, and it's been bugging me because I have AWDA and I haven't figured out what to do. Now I know what to do on the bear stuff, and that's in the works, but how do you do the lion stuff when it's already legal? They're trying to make it illegal, and we're trying to keep it legal. And it's harder to probably keep it legal with ideas than it is to make it illegal with ideas, whether they're true or not. We all know they lie. This ain't even defamation of character. This is the facts. They put out bad information.
They falsely cited studies claiming the study said things they didn't say right there in Game and Fish, and got challenged by the department.
And
they just say things that aren't true all the time.
Well, I don't think on my feet.
Well,
I disagree with that. I disagree with social media making trophy a bad word.
Well, not our social media, but theirs.
They were using trophy as a slang as a slur. Trophy hunter as a slur before I was born. Before there was any social media.
It's easier now. How did I meet you? How did I meet all of you? It's all internet. We wouldn't know each other. We wouldn't know half the stuff's going on. I wouldn't know of the HB 2552 that came out. I wouldn't have known about the California, the Prop 127. Like, social media can really be hurtful for us, and it can be helpful for us. And we need to.
And that's entirely up to us. That is entirely in our hands, or whether it's hurtful or helpful. We have to control the narrative. We got to take back the word.
A catch-22.
Yeah,
but they have used social media to put out this emotional rhetoric.
Yeah, this propaganda
that trophy is a bad word.
And we got to do it. We got to do it the other way, because we have to play in the same game. Just like if you want to beat a ballot initiative, you got to take a representative to lunch kind of deal. If we have to fight fire with fire. We spent too long just looking away. They're always going to be able to find a bad picture. They can use bad pictures from, just like in Spain, when they got they had a deal in Scandinavia, and they used pictures from Spain and pictures from America for their campaign ads against hunting in Norway or whatever.
Richard Price got it right, yo.
They can always find bad information.
It is a bad word.
We have to be proactive, and we have to use the tools that are relevant to social media. Hurt hunting due to the posting of killed animals.
I don't believe that 100%, but there are videos out there that can make a non-hunter an anti-hunter. It can make that person that says, "Oh, harvesting an animal is all right," but when they see the harvesting in a bad way, you know.
Yeah.
And you're
But-
talking about the common public, not a hunter.
Even saying harvesting wildlife is topping out as we're losing. You're fighting from a losing end saying that, because you don't harvest live animals. You harvest corn, you harvest wheat, you harvest cucumbers, you shoot a deer, and then we cut it up and then we eat it. And people are so far from the field and the table, and that's what's killing us. Is we play these dance around games too much. They don't need to see the wet wild minutes, but we don't have to cur out to every single thing that they do, because somebody will be culture shocked by it. Like our dogs chase bears, they bite them, they bark in their face, and then we shoot them, and then we eat them sometimes, or we shoot them sometimes and then we eat them.
Richard fights right there. Tell me if I'm just barking up the wrong tree, Richard, but what you haven't seen the transition, Derek. Richard and I have seen the transition where America was rural, and now the rural part is gone. And so you're talking all of this stuff took place in a more rural atmosphere and a more rural logic. Now with everybody
accepted.
Absolutely.
It was accepted.
It was a way of life. But now in the concrete jungle, that whole picture has changed. And so it's easier for all of those people to reach their hordes in the concrete jungle through social media. And then they play up, I'm not against showing the taking of an animal and all that. It's just the manner in which it happens and to what extent. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But now it's why I was saying the other week, like now is the time for us to gain a foothold in that concrete jungle. Even Mark Zuckerberg hunts his food. He hunts pigs. And he is as far away from us as you can get. There's a huge back to nature movement. People are eating wild plants, hunting their food, eating fish. That stuff is getting so popular among the what do you call, like
the younger generation?
Yeah, younger people, the hipster
it's
types.
becoming hip. Yeah, it's becoming hip.
And we got to get on that board. We can't be
the problem.
Caveman with the dog hunters. We gotta be at the forefront of this. It's the most traditional way. We gotta hit them and get in on that as well.
That's the whole problem. You take the lady from Georgia that keeps running for governor that thinks you don't need farmers because you can just go to the grocery store and buy your damn food. We're so out of touch with how things work, and it's because it's what's on TV. It's what's on social media. It is
you're right.
Pounded into your head.
So I just watched a clip of Yellowstone where someone was protesting, and I don't watch Yellowstone. I just see clips of it, and they were protesting about the beef, killing cattle, murdering and raping them, and all that. And Kevin Costner said,
only in Arkansas.
The best line
breeding is raping. Leave Derek out of this. No, listen.
Yeah, I forget he's from Arkansas for about a brief minute.
So, but you got to think. And he said, you eat kale or all that crap, and they kill. He went through a whole list. They kill everything when they plow that field. They kill more animals than we do.
Oh yeah,
every mouse, every rat, every bull.
Shit, guys. No, stop it. We got trouble.
Y'all starting shit without me.
There he is.
I was spreading rumors. I was spreading rumors, Cody.
I don't.
You got out tonight. He should be talking Spanish. I said you were in Mexico.
I was. I just got back.
That was it.
I don't doubt that. So we're talking about social media and all the bad words, and we was talking about trophy being a bad word. And then Derek said something about harvesting. I don't mind using the word harvesting because it's a gentle word to bring people. So if you tell somebody who don't hunt, hey, let's go harvest an animal, right? It's not let's go kill something. That's barbaric to somebody that's not raised in hunting. To us, it's nothing. I mean, I'm a whack 'em, stack 'em guy. I'm like, hey, you want to go whack an elk? Does that sound right to some? Probably not. But to use the word harvest to me is polite. It's a polite way to bring people in, because I've brought people in that never shot a gun, didn't even know what, they don't know nothing. No, oh, look at you, Derek. You've never been around elk. You know what I mean?
Never shot a gun.
And yeah, never shot a real gun. So anyway, so harvesting to me is just a polite way. I don't think we should just go out there and say kill, 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 because it's rude to somebody. But later on, when you say harvest, 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 you'll learn that those people will start saying, hey, you want to go try to kill a bear? He's not going to say you want to go harvest a bear. So I think harvest is just a polite way. I don't think it's a cop out, really.
My thing is they'll just take harvest and do the same thing they did with trophy, the same thing they did with dog hunting. Like
those people aren't the common public, though. Those are
I deal with a lot of like upper middle class, like yuppie type people at work.
Because they don't
I
know
thought you was talking about when you came hunting with me. Go ahead, though.
And they all want to know, because I'm the I stick out in that place like
you're the hillbilly redneck.
And they want to know, what's this big cage on my truck? What do I do with my dogs? What kind of dogs do I got? Oh, we have bears here. Do you kill the bears? Like, well, I mean, sometimes we do. Do you
what
eat
is
a
that,
bear?
Derek?
Yeah.
What is that?
What's what?
That's education.
But I don't dance around, because if you say, oh, we harvested it, they're gonna be like, harvest what? And then it's just more questions. You can cut straight to that point. I've just never had somebody be offended. They know when you're hunting, you're killing something. And when they find out we're not killing something every time we're going, we're not out there just murking everything we see. That's the thing that I just think it's entirely unnecessary to dance around with these polite terms, because they'll just take that term and make it unacceptable too. We can't play. We can't play semantics with these people. We just have to. We have to be tasteful and present things in a positive light. But I don't think it's important to throw effort after playing semantic games to appease the people that said it's not nice to say we kill a deer or kill a bear or kill a lion.
Well,
we have to say
that's what the hell we do.
Well, we're not trying to appease them. We're trying to bring in the people who don't know no different.
But we're only doing that because the antis told us that that's the word we should use. It's Joe Public didn't think up harvest. The antis did. That was a response to them saying it's not nice to kill animals, and they calling us murderers and all this tomfoolery. We need to ignore that stuff entirely and not worry about responding to their propaganda, and just present what we do in a positive light and push it into the places outside of our echo chambers. And because if we're playing the defense game all the time, that's what they've been having us do for 40 years. If we do that, we're just going to lose. We got to, I say to heck with that. I don't see the point. We might as well just go forward and try to spread what we do and the way we do it to those that don't see it. I think there's such an opening with this young people today and this back to nature movement that's going on. Like,
well, here's one thing that's changed a lot. And so when you talk about hunting from a food perspective, right? Each of you, and I'll ask you each of you this question independently, and I'm going to use fish for an example first. But let's say that each of you decided you wanted to eat fish this weekend. How much do you think you would spend from the moment you left your house to go fishing, do whatever you got to do, clean fish, and then get home with fish?
I can tell you it's cheaper to go buy a fish.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's
like
one thing.
To go buy a steak.
That's one thing that's changed a lot over the years. And I use fishing as an example because it's kind of a smaller scale, But in the old days, and even not so long ago, old days, I know a lot of people that went fishing to feed their family. And now you go fishing because you like fresh fish. You don't do it to feed your family because it'd be cheaper to feed them otherwise. And that's the same thing with hunting. Y'all have some public land. That's a little bit different. But, I can tell you unequivocally in Texas, I mean, for what it costs to lease a deer lease,
You can add Louisiana to that, Cody.
yeah, same. Yeah, and Jeremy knows you would be much better off going and buying a dozen $150 ribeye roast from the store, and eating like a king.
Oh,
Shit,
when you
it
go
costs
elk
more than
hunting,
that here.
But to be fair, like if I would have killed that elk, that weight of that lean of beef would cost more than the truck I drove up there. You know what I mean? Or
But
damn
that's
near.
not nationwide, though, is what
Yeah, yeah,
and that's why
yeah.
I
well,
used fishing as an example,
That's
actually. But
fair.
well,
Joe Rogan has actually done a very good job of describing this to the public. And he says a couple of things. He says, number one, I know where my meat came from. There's no additives, there's no growth hormones, there's none of that
antibiotics.
shit.
Mhm.
And then number two, if you want to look at it from an ethical standpoint, what's better? An elk that's been free ranging his whole life and then you shoot him one day? Or a calf that was born in a feedlot that
Mhm.
lives in a 12 by 12 pen, standing in his own shit his entire life, being fed protein just to fat? I mean, ethically speaking, hunting is is better than store bought beef.
Yes.
Well, let's take.
So
I'm lucky
let me-
because I can go out my back door, right? Even Derek, he came up. He didn't have to. He was right there. Like to go to take a hunting trip, even if you just have a cow hunt, you take a hunting trip. You're $200-300 in fuel. You're $200-300 in food.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're spending $1,000 tags, $150
Yeah.
for elk, and you're spending that money. And you're right. You could go probably buy a side of beef, but how many people go to the store, buy a steak, and come home and eat it and feel like, man, I did good? Yeah, what did you have to work 2-3 hours to get that steak, but you didn't go out and get that steak.
Yeah.
well, Cody, when I was over there with you, you bought steaks and fed me a steak for the first night I was there. So
He didn't want tacos.
every day after that, we were out fishing, whether we were fishing right there close or when we went offshore. And so out of all of that, and by the way, I ate some fish tonight and it's still delicious. But which of those, what you're getting at is out of everything that I went with you and potentially got to eat, which was the cheapest? That steak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now the other part of it is if every single American decided he wanted elk this year, there would be no elk after 1 year. So it has to be based on a system to where the majority of people don't do it now. I mean, there's too many people,
Yeah.
and
That's what happened to
And,
our turkeys.
really,
Social media killed our turkeys.
yeah.
That and hogs. More turkey hunters than there are turkeys. I can't tell you the last time I saw a hen with poults.
Yeah. No, it's a messed up deal, and things have just gotten, things have changed a lot, and and I'll tell you another thing too, and you can blame this on whichever factors you want, but like down here where we live, there's an animal called a javelina, and Mexicans in Mexico eat them, and they're freaking terrible. They're not good to eat. And but when years ago there wasn't as many javelinas, now there's a ton of them, and a lot of these old timers say that the day that food stamps came out, and a lot of the poorer people no longer had to hunt for their food, is when the javelina started booming. That was the first to go, because so there's so many different factors and different ways to look at it and where from, and you could go on for hours and hours and hours about it.
Well, we talk about that, and it kind of gets into what I wanted to talk about tonight as far as how are houndsmen viewed. We're not viewed as harvesters or meat hunters or whatever you want to call it. We're viewed as pursuers and killers,
Harassers.
trophies, harassers. That's where the
me,
bad word
Benny.
trophy,
I do a lot of harassing.
because we don't associate running dogs after something. But Cody brought up what's better. Now, to me, chasing an animal on home court or pursuing an animal or whatever you want to call it, but using your dog to run a bear lion, he has home court advantage. How much more ethical to me? And I don't start a fight with all the long range shooters or anything, but or sitting in a stand. Or
Chris,
I think the worst. What? Go ahead.
The thing people don't see though is what it takes to get to that point of actually chasing that animal we're actually at.
And no one's the general public is never going to understand.
No.
So let's go back to social media on that.
Hunting with dogs is
hair.
easy. That's easy. Hunting with dogs is you just turn them dogs loose. And
That's
catch
what I'm
shit.
saying. Go back to social media, and it's a 10 to 30-minute video of dogs jumping off the tailgate and going to a tree. Not the 2 years or 3 years. If you did a video, and in that video, every time you did a video, and say you had Bubba catch a lion, right? So why not take 5-10 minutes of that and explain Bubba's upbringing, who's he out of, and then like you could let him go. I mean, you could do videos really well if you let him go off tailgate, and then you go into a documentary style saying, "This is Bubba. I got him when he was born here. I got him when he was this old. I trained with him, and then go into the catch."
You don't have any dogs named Bubba.
I don't know anybody who has a dog named Bubba. I'm sure there are out there. All my dogs are weird names. So,
and that's what I was kind of talking about last week. Is we got to try to change the culture around the use of a dog. Like look at Northern Europe. It is illegal to hunt without a dog on standby to track wounded game. As soon as game is wounded, whether it be by a hunter, by a car, whatever, they have to have a dog handler there within, I believe, 2 hours, or they are fined, and then their insurance won't cover their vehicle. Like it is literally against the law to like go spot and stalk hunt without having a dog handy to trail up that game once you take a shot. And if we could like get ourselves in a better light to the culture, we spent too long covering our heads in the sand while they called us monsters, that now the Joe public thinks we're bad guys out there killing baby bears and stretching lion kittens and all this wildness, rather than we got to present it in a better light to try to combat the
let
image.
me go to Crazy's comment here.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people that own dogs and could relate to how long and how. What's the key word? A lot of people that own dogs. A lot of people own dogs, but when it comes to hunting and killing, a dog like a Malamar or a healer, those are just out doing work. And I believe the hound is probably the hardest working dog in the world. I don't think there's a lot of dogs that will do or perform
or can
run until they're dead.
Yeah.
But people don't understand it though, because I can't tell you how many people I've hunted for who were just deer hunters or ranch owners or something, and I showed up and caught a cat, and they thought I was the bomb. And at the same time, how many hunters I showed up and didn't catch a cat, and they thought me and my dogs weren't worth a shit. They don't understand. They don't understand. And in their defense,
signature.
too complex of an issue for them to understand because they're not associated with it. They don't know conditions and trailing scent and humidity and wind, you know, all of the excuses that we all use on a daily basis, but they don't know, you know. You don't know unless you do it. Just like none of us know what it takes to, you know, we all sit and watch a football game and cuss at the guy that fumbled the ball, you know, and we act, oh, that moron couldn't even hold on to the ball, you know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
You don't know, and I think that's where we make rash decisions on what we post or what we say. And like Derek was saying, we should, but it has to be. You have to be. I just had the word, but so you have to kind of be. You have to know who your Jesus Christ. Maybe I'm having a stroke. You have to know who your crowd is, who you're talking to. You have to know who's listening to you. So you have to be careful. There's people you can say, I whacked a bear, fell out of a tree 30 feet, even if you don't hunt. And there's people
Your
that
audience.
you have to bring them in slow.
Yeah.
I
you have to-
personally
who did
don't
the-
like. I
Audience.
personally don't like a lot of things that we do, and you know, I don't like it when. I don't like it when. And it's just a personal thing. I understand why people do it. I understand it has to be done, but I don't like people using eating it as an excuse to hunt. You know, I don't like justifying that.
That's exactly what Chris Powell was talking about.
So
That's
does
kind
that
of a-
mean that
that's kind of
no
a cop-out.
coyote should ever be killed? No, you know, I
Why
mean,
should it be justified? Why?
there's your point. Yeah, and that's what we as houndsmen and outdoorsmen try to justify things. And sometimes I just wonder if it would be better if we didn't. And I don't know. I play devil's advocate on this issue a lot. You know, like I mentioned on here the other day. I mean, if there's something that if you have a picture on your phone that you wouldn't post on Facebook, is it because you're ashamed of what you're doing? Is what you're doing actually unethical? You know, and and you know, but I understand the side of it's the middle average Joes that we don't want to turn off. So, but it's kind of like, guys, we all need to get together and we all need to lie about what goes on in our lives every day, or else we're not going to be able to do this no more. And that's just a shitty situation to
Well, it's
be
like
in.
you're cheating
You
on
know.
yourself.
Yes, exactly. It sucks.
Yeah.
And it's just a little worrisome because we got to find. I think like it'd be great if we could find a way to reach Joe Public without and beat the other side's arguments, because if we don't, we're either going to lose it all the way or it's going to be regulated like Europe. And if we lived like if we had to do it the way they do it, I think 85-90% of the guys wouldn't have dogs anymore.
Correct.
Well,
2
you
dogs
said
on
it right
one
there,
game,
though.
no
The other
vehicles allowed.
side.
You know what I mean?
You said the other side. It's the other side. We have to take that other side's narrative.
See,
Turn it into
Ted
our
just
narrative.
said something, and looking at it sounds good, but is that a true statement? What Ted just said? I mean,
I
what animals have
agree.
been? I almost think. I mean,
He's wrote.
is there more? I mean, everybody likes to eat deer, but there's
Well-
more deer now than there's ever been. We didn't drive them to extinction. What animals have been driven to extinction just because we're
Well,
eating them? You know,
I think that goes back to the 1800s, right? Or when Daniel
Back when they
Boone
were
was around.
market hunting.
And it was a market. It was still for
and
money.
even it was, but
in
it was,
Africa, that's definitely true. People poach for meat. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fact in Africa. There's no doubt about that. Except in the areas where hunting provides enough income to not have poaching. if there's no hunting in the region, there's no animals. In Africa, that's a fact. And anybody that says any different is ill-informed.
And I mean, even you look at the United States. I mean, there's more deer, more black bear, more of all of our big game animals than there was when Columbus landed,
No, that's
except
'cause they
for
put
one,
limits
except except for the buffalo, and that was they were killed by government program to take the food source away from the natives to try to win
I mean,
that
and
war.
there was a lot of reasons to that. You know, they were
Yeah,
selling the pelts, the tongues. A lot of that had to do with the railroad. You know,
yep,
you couldn't have a train coming through with 10,000 buffaloes sitting on a track, and they wanted to kill all them buffaloes so the Indians didn't have nothing to eat. You know,
I just watched a doc or listened or somewhere about the buffalo, and it said,
yeah,
you know, so if you do the average of if a guy went out, you could only sell so much meat, right? It would rot. If you go out and kill, there's guys that killed 40,000 buffalo on their own during their life. So out of 40,000 pelts, how much of that meat can you actually get to where it needs to go before it rots? And they're saying, so
yeah,
the average of pelts, it's not like, so if they had 1 million tons of pelts, it was like a percentage, and they still had like 300,000 pounds of meat that still went out. It's just they didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have coolers.
no, they killed a lot of them buffalo, just left them lay.
Absolutely.
You know, but you know, but why is different reasons. But I mean, one thing that is fact is, I mean, there was millions of buffalo, millions, and
they strung out from Louisiana to Canada.
yeah,
You know,
and
and we're
it
talking
affected
about
the
America.
railroad.
We're still talking, you know, this guy, like Ted said, Asia. It's all over the country. It's not just Americans that are heartless
Yes.
trophy hunting killers.
That's exactly right. And America has the most hunting, and America has the most animals than anywhere. You know,
we have the most management.
I mean, one thing that I've always
most
liked
management.
asking, do what?
I don't think we have the most management.
I think we do by far. I don't.
Scandinavia, everything that's hunted in Scandinavia, except for, I think actually everything is hunted on a quota system, except for
How many species
like
are in
small birds.
Scandinavia compared to the United States or America?
We have more animals. We have more animals, but we don't have more management. Like
I don't
they're
think
way
that's
stricter than
management. I think that's regulation. You know,
What's the difference? I mean, what's the difference?
Well,
I mean,
if you
a
have-
lot of difference.
If you have
I mean,
5 species in Scandinavia and you have 300 species in the United States, we definitely have to have more management, and it's different management per species.
I mean,
But that's all
in
semantic games.
in
though.
New Mexico, you can only kill a bobcat for a month out of the year, 2 months out of the year. In Texas, you can kill them year round.
Yeah,
You
here
know.
you can't kill but one a year.
In
I guess
Louisiana,
we have more different management because it's by the state.
Unless
And
you
over
hold
there,
a
it's
trapper's
all
license during oak
countrywide.
trapping season.
and then and then you have to understand too, Derek, because I'm looking this from a Texas private land perspective. You know, where the state really and truly on these high fence ranches, the state doesn't regulate or manage the deer at all anymore, and so that is different. And I mean, they do in a way, but the owners of the private land regulate it much more stringently than the state does. You know,
because they're the
But-
property of the landowner. That's correct.
I mean, once you put up a 9-foot fence, it is.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's what the law says or not, that's true. You know,
They
and
can no longer escape and move freely.
yeah, and I mean, and there's lots of countries where you can't hunt anymore. You know,
Yeah.
hardly at all, and so that's regulated more. But is it managed more? You know, I don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think there's another place in the world where the effort goes into manage. I mean, the science behind it, and I mean, it's a lot, and maybe not any individual state, But when you add up all the different states and all the different management types and skills, and it's a lot, you know.
Well, look at
I
these
just wish
high
we could.
fences.
I wish we could
Yeah.
take the politics and the emotion out of wildlife management, though.
That's what needs to
That
be done.
has to happen. That should
That's
happen.
why I always
Period.
that's why I always shine a light on Scandinavia, because they have really, really good management plans. They do the thing we talk about where hunters provide data. You take bears like stool samples, send it in, they take DNA, they keep track of that, and they harvest a really clear percentage of the brown bear every year. See, there's
So
me using the keyword again. But they
when,
take, a certain number of their species to keep the population at a level that they can sustain on their landscape.
I mean, do they
so
not do that in New Mexico or Colorado? They got quotas, don't they?
But
Arizona,
when's the last time we had a bear DNA study done in Arizona to determine the number of different lines of bears and density studies? Like, we don't do that every single year. That's what I mean. Like, they're getting new data all the time.
you know why? And this is just like dust in the wind being blown around that you catch, but it's because we have enough bears. Now they might say we don't, but until they figure out, oh crap, we only have 1,000 bears, let's say, then they'll start doing the studies.
But
If they're
that's
not, if
that's
they're
my
not
point.
doing studies, and I agree with you on that. Every big game should be checked in. Now let's talk about it's another rabbit hole. Let's talk about the difference between the Scandinavian government and the American government. Americans do not trust the government. When you say don't do that, or hey, here's an app, report it. You know what we say?
We're gonna lie.
Well, not just that. You're like you're not going to follow us. I'm going to report lions. Now you're going to know where I'm at.
And
We
that's
don't
a
like
problem in Texas as we speak. And let me tell you why.
Here too.
There is a big drive to regulate mountain lion hunting in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
And
Cody, is that by the other side?
it's from bunny huggers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pamela Hart and those
Yeah.
individuals, but they don't have no data because the hunters like us won't tell them. There's what you're talking about, Derek. Everything that you're talking about exists in Texas right now. It's just not mandatory with mountain lions. And so the bunny huggers come to Texas and says, we need to protect these lions. There's not enough of them. And the State Department, and this comes from my brother, but my brother told me straight out. He said, if all you freaking hound hunters would tell us how many lions you're killing every year, we could then go to the bunny huggers and say, piss off. We killed 1,000 mountain lions last year in the state of Texas, but we don't do that because we don't want the information used against us. Well, then the state don't have the information to fight the bunny huggers.
Yeah.
And
that's
so it's we can cause our own problems sometimes.
That's my whole thing is we can't stick our head in the sand and hope the bad guys go away. We have to beat them with science. We have to beat them by being smarter than they are at the game that they're playing. If the science don't support it, we might lose some. If there really weren't enough bears or weren't enough lions, we might lose for a year-long season, or we might get a stiffer quota. But I think even if we did, that's not a bad thing, because I'm not out here so we can hunt no matter what. I want it to be science-based, and if we lose something somewhere because of that, then that's probably better, because I don't want to
Now,
see
on the other hand, though, Derek, I will push back a little bit on what you said a while ago about the studies. I would be willing to bet that there's dozens of studies conducted in Arizona every year that you don't even know about. Where Scandinavia is kind of doing it publicly. And this is a gripe that I've had with some of the individuals that I've collared lions with, is it's like every single one of you did a thesis on lions. Where's the data? How come why? And I'm not saying they hide the data, but they don't make it very easily accessible. And that's a gripe that I have with the biologists. Is there's a lot of studies going on. I promise you that you don't even know about.
But if it's not public, it might as well not exist.
Well,
If
okay, but
everybody
let's talk
can't,
about
if
let's talk
everybody
about
can't
public.
see it, they may as well not be doing it. They're just pissing money in the wind so somebody can get a degree.
Well, let's
You
talk
know,
about
it
public.
needs to be.
Why doesn't Arizona go public with a lot of their studies? Is because the other side will take that information. So they do a lot of studies, and there's a lot of information out there, but they have to be pretty meticulous on what they let go because it can be used against us.
Now,
Whether it's good or bad. Look at the quota in Arizona and lions. Have we filled the quota ever? Like the full 350 lions? I don't know what it is right now, but
whatever it is, I don't believe so.
Nevada's never filled a quota. I don't know about New Mexico. Have they ever filled their lion quota? I don't know if they have a quota, but have they ever, half of these people haven't even filled their lion quotas. To that, if they say 300 lions, we're killing 197.
Ben Masters is a cuck. Yeah, absolutely, Ted. Texas does need some studies on lions. There's absolutely no doubt. And I'll tell you one reason why I advocate that is because one thing that is an unarguable fact that I can tell you without doing any studies is there's more lions right now than there has ever been in my lifetime. And that is fact. But there hasn't been any data, and the state kind of screwed the bunny huggers. Many years ago, this came up, late 90s, early 2000s. And the state told the bunny huggers, we're not going to do any of that, but we're going to do a bunch of study. And then they didn't really follow through with the studies,
Benny, on Richard Dickerson, I bet you if you ask Richard Dickerson, all that information he turned in, what percentage was actually released?
Let me tell you a quick story before you answer that, Benny. So I've done some work collaring mountain lions, right? And I got to be careful what I say here, but here's what I'm going to tell you. The state has helped fund some studies through a university on mountain lions. The state, and I wrote this in the 2025 mountain lion review deal. They asked me to review it and give my thoughts, and I said this. The state has a program for confirmed lion reports. You call them in, you send a picture. They have a picture of the map of Texas divided by county, and there's a number in every county, right? In 2024, the state of Texas website lists a county and shows the number 2 as confirmed lion sightings in that county. We collared 7. Why did that data not get to this data? So they have 2 confirmed sightings, but there was 7 collared in that county. So the number should be at least 7, right? I mean, that's very simple math, and it's not because I'll tell you, the science is funny. You hear these crazy people go on these podcasts and talk about, the scientists are holding information. There's such egos and such competition, and there's 2 different lion studies going on almost basically in the same area right now, and there's no communication between the 2 at all by design. They won't even let them talk to each other. And so it's like, the state funded all this data, but the state's lion count wasn't updated with the data. The bunny huggers see there was only 2 lions. We need to outlaw lion hunting. Man, there was only 2 confirmed. It's just all of this information. You can have 27 different studies, but if it's not made public and it's not put together in a correct way, it's worthless.
Which
And
goes
if
back
it's not,
to what
if it's
he's
not
talking about
factual,
Scandinavia. Now, before
It's
Benny
not
gets onto that,
factual.
but
Yeah.
before Benny answers the first question, what you said right there, I got to be careful what I say. But why do you got to be careful what you say? Everybody has to be careful, but why do we have to be careful what we say? What's your answer to that?
I mean, I'll tell you straight up. I mean, because I want to go collar some more lions. And I
Yeah,
get on
and
here talking shit about a bunch of these people and revealing their secrets. And they're going to say, don't call Cody no more.
I
You know?
bet you that's
well,
every biologist. Same thing.
let
Yeah,
me
They can't
tell
live
you a
on.
story. So the New Mexico sportsmen, everybody that bought a hunting license and a fishing license, and they took all this money out of Pittman Robinson, and we funded, I don't remember now if it was 10 years or 20 years of lion studies in the San Andres Mountains, but right there outside of Las Cruces. And I went to some of those meetings where those people, the biologists, were having these meetings at the game department, and they flat lied. They just flat lied. And I called them on it, and they didn't have any appreciation for me. You're not supposed to call them liars. You're not supposed to do it in an open forum in public, and you're not supposed to have information and data that goes against what they're turning in. Now, years later, everybody's retired. Brett Vaughn talked to the lead biologist on those studies, and he's done studies all over. He may be involved in some of the studies in Texas even today. This guy is like the nation's lead mountain lion go-to savvy guy. And he told Brett some stuff on the phone, and when Brett asked him if he would be interviewed, he refused
Oh, yeah.
because you
And
have to
he's
be
retired,
careful what
right?
you say.
For the most,
Well, he
or he's still
yeah,
kind of.
so yeah, I like this. So the numbers are there, but it depends on what the person that's running the numbers wants to gain out of it.
They
It
came from
depends on,
Mexico. Sorry, Benny.
well, no, I understand all that, Cody, but
I read a
Oh, he was
question on
answering a
this. I read a
question.
question on the screen and I blurted I thought out loud. I'm sorry. I've had a
no,
long
that's
day, man.
okay.
I've been up since 7 this morning and I mean, I walked in the door right when I pushed,
But
we're pouring last bit of concrete for the deer cleaning station tomorrow. So,
okay, well, that's good. Now you can move on to rhinos.
yeah.
But anyway, that's another rabbit hole. But anyway, so not only is it depending on that person's own agenda and prerogative, but the people that that person's associated with and peer pressure and outside influences. And like in Cody's instance, do I want to be able to continue in this one direction, or do I just want to go ahead and go rogue?
And
That's
And
why
so all of that
right.
comes into play.
That's my whole issue with the politics, emotion, and bureaucracy. Because wildlife is property of the citizens. It's held in a public trust. Most of it, at least in our states, residing on public lands, also the property of the general public. So we should have a right to the knowledge in relation to the wildlife that we own. We ought to be able, and we might be able to issue like public records requests to get this information because it's not private property when it's state funded studies. You know what I mean? That makes sense. I
Well,
think
yeah.
we just gotta do it. The other side does it all the time. When they need information, they issue the request, they file the injunctions, they get it. We gotta do the same stuff. We gotta be able to stand there with the document in our hands, and I gotta be up there and not like next time I'm talking at the state capitol, I can't be able to like, well, let me tell you, I can for sure guarantee I gotta be able to, according to this, written here by this study conducted here like this, bam. And that's, you know, to my understanding, that's what's happened in Washington. That's why they're having a big shakeup of their game commission because they had that large carnivore biologist that was throwing out made up stuff from '93 as relevant fact today, and then Bart and Panthera come in and hundreds and hundreds lions per square 1,000 miles off or whatever. And
Well,
it
like
changes all
Benny
the time.
said, a while ago to Tim or whoever, he said Richard Dickerson turned in his reports. To who? To who? And
That's right.
what they do with them? You know,
Exactly. Where did it go?
and
Well,
that's where it's a bunch of information is lacking. But them biologists,
Well, that's just like
I'll-
here. We've got 3 guys hired by USDA to trap and hunt hogs. Now, they're not required by anything that I've ever heard to bring in any proof that they're actually catching them.
yeah.
One of them, I know for a fact, he'll go set up traps and then drink beer the rest of the day.
Well, I can tell you too, I have 100% irrefutable evidence of a jaguarundi in the state of Texas. I don't know how old the picture was, 2 years ago, maybe something like that. According to the state, there has not been a jaguarundi in the state of Texas confirmed since 1986, and they are declared extradited from the state. I called and told some people that I had jaguarundi evidence. No one came. And I couldn't figure out why. The person that I called was wrapping up their PhD on the extinction of jaguarundis in the state of Texas. So
He didn't want to open another can of worms.
he or she, yeah, did not.
And is that the same in Arizona, Benny? So we just had this big outburst a few months ago, right? About this new jaguar that lives in Arizona and having babies and whatever they're trying to say. But where's the pictures now? They had a few pictures and it went away. But in order, if they're afraid if they get a breeding pair in Arizona, let's just say a female, and then they start this, the other side will use it and then put so much pressure on people who can control the regulation of it that they're going to shut down all of South Arizona because they don't want to serve.
I don't know that they're going to shut down
coming,
southern Arizona, but the jaguar sightings are going to be more and more. And that's just like I said a while ago, the lions coming from Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico is getting full of jaguars in a lot of areas too, and and that's why
They're
when
gonna
Chris
expand out, right?
and that's why when I talked to you that one day and you were like, man, there's not a female here and there hadn't been a female here, I said, man, you better be careful using that as an excuse, because from what I know from the individuals that I've worked with, jaguar biologists in Mexico, it's coming. Any day you could see a female.
Sooner or later,
Yeah,
if they're
coming.
getting over, like you said. Where did you say the lions from Texas came from?
Mexico.
Where do you think the jaguars in Arizona come from?
Mexico.
And you're right, sooner or later, but the other side will take that narrative of a breeding pair and put so much pressure
But
that they'll try to shut it down.
That's why we need to go now and become a titan. We have to get big and powerful, and we got to get dollars behind
Benny,
us.
what was that, Benny?
If we wait until they come out with this pictures of breeding pairs, we're screwed. We have to get ahead of the game, control the cultural narrative as much as we possibly can, build up the war chest, and get ready because it's coming. It's for sure coming. And if we don't get ahead of
it's already here.
We're whipped.
It's already
if we
here.
don't get ahead of it, we're whipped. The same old tactics didn't work. They haven't worked. They're not going to work tomorrow. We got to get.
You know the difference on playing offense though is when they play offense, they have a lot of money and backers, and they know how to spin the narrative. And they're liars. They will straight lie and deceive and use that
But
emotions and
that
butterflies.
doesn't matter. We
It
can
does
beat them,
matter.
but we can
How-
beat them. Saying that and saying only that, we might as well just stay home and not get on here and not go to the Capitol and
Since
not go to
when do we
games.
play offense?
That's what I'm saying. We have to get ahead of this.
I
We got
raised
to
I
play
raised
their game.
$10,000. They raise $1 million, and
We got to raise more.
their people are in it. I can hardly. I've still got spaces on a Garmin for $50. Like I still had that thing should have been sold out.
Well, it's just
And
like
maybe
Cody said, we're not going to do this by getting money from Houndsman. We have to get
Yeah.
outside of our echo
There you
chamber.
go, right
We have
there.
to talk to Joe Public. We have to get out to the regular people. They're not getting
Who's
anti-hunters to fund their stuff. They're getting Joe Public and Cindy down the road to do it. We have
who's
to do
gonna
the
do it?
same thing.
Who's gonna do it on our side though?
We have to.
Me?
If not us, then
You?
who? If not us, then we
I
might as
will.
well sell our dogs and start fly fishing. Like we have to. We have no choice.
Well, we have to, but I mean, can you afford to drive down to South Arizona and stay there for a week and pass out pamphlets? Like, you know what I mean? It's what we have
So
to do. And I don't give up, but I'm saying is
And I
let me
already
just
fly fish,
inject
and I don't have that patience.
before
And
Derek, before you
yes,
were alive, there was a group that started, a guy named Dave Foreman. Um, he was, I don't remember what the name of his big deal was, but he was one of these ultra hate everybody that hunts and fish, loves the outdoors, whatever. But him and several of these other big name people, what we call the antis, they all got together and they came up with a plan that was top secret. And they got people like Ted Turner to donate $2 billion. When my daughter was in junior high, she discovered this and she showed it to me. And back then, they called it the Wildlands Project. So this deal has been in the works for 40, 50 years, and it's now gaining speed. And you see corridors, you see where you haven't been there. Chris has seen it, where they took the highway out of the canyon
mhm.
and they went and they put bridges so that they take it. You can't drive up what is the name of that creek anymore? Over by Sunflower. They completely closed that road
Yep.
off.
Yeah.
And
Christopher
and
Creek too.
now Christopher Creek, the same
Mhm.
thing. And all of that is for these wildlife corridors. And they claim that they leave the the gates open in the arroyos on the border wall down there where clumps and glens and all of them live. And they say that that's because of the floods, which during the monsoon, sure, but more than that, it's for wildlife traffic. It's
Kelly
corridors, and they cannot close
You
off
see
the
a lot of that
corridors.
in Colorado, also, Benny.
You can go to
Kelly Green
Canada.
Kelly Glenn could probably explain the process because they know what's coming down there, right? Like they know if there's jaguars or if there's anything that they can do the extinct wildlife crap down there. It's going to happen by them, and
but
they have
what
a
are
lot of
we?
information
What
on
are we
that.
even talking about? Like, so what if there's wildlife corridors? I don't think that's a bad thing. I think overpasses in South California to keep the wildlife off the road's a good thing. Just like I think, overpasses and game fences on the Highway 90 in Montana is a good thing. I don't think
Okay,
that's
well,
bad.
why I'm talking about it is because they're programming the general public with terminology and they're spending billions and billions of dollars for all of this. And this has been implemented. It's been a deal that's started, like I said, before you were born. And their end goal is for the North America, and you'll think this is a far stretch, but it's coming. In the North American continent, 50% human free, and there will not even be jet airplanes flying over these corridors within a certain elevation. and it's implemented. And so it's good that you have that energy and you want to stand up and fight, but you're going to stand up and fight and get shot down all to pieces like a lone soldier.
Well, then we should all just quit. To hell with it. Like with that thought process, that's why we haven't won before. That's why we just keep losing. It's because we can't beat them. They're too big.
No,
There's
we
no
keep losing
point in it.
because nobody wants to stand up and do it because, like he just said, I just posted that, is most of the people that believe in that stuff have jobs, not just houndsmen or hunters, just normal people in general have jobs and have to pay their electric bill.
But we can't fund it ourselves. That's what we keep talking about. The way we're doing it, it's the old school way. It's the hunting club way.
Then
That
tell me
way
how to
there's-
make $1 million right now to fight the CBD.
I can tell you how to do it.
Yeah,
I've told you how to
talked
do it.
Yeah, we've talked about it. That's how we have to
Now,
do it. We have to play their game.
It's easier said than done.
But we got to do it.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easier. I mean, anything's easy to said and hard to
There's
do.
there's one hound group or dog group in Arizona, and that's us. That's it.
Well,
There could be 100 of them.
But that won't matter. If there was 1,000 dog groups, it wouldn't matter because if every dog hunter in
you don't
Arizona
want the money
gave
from
us-
the.
Yeah.
You need to, and I say you as in figuratively. Whoever was going to do this, you need to have multiple nonprofits set up,
Mhm.
and you need to have one set up for the conservation of jaguars and one set up for the conservation of mountain lions. And you need to advertise on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of this stuff, sending out. You ain't got to tell them who you are. You ain't got to tell them what you represent. You ain't got to tell them what money's going from what organization left to right. You got to tell them, click here to help us save the mountain lions. You're
And
not lying.
that's where the easier said and done is because it's the people, the amount of people needed to do that.
I think two people could do it. I mean, to me, it seems very simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you're going to have to. I mean, now let me rephrase that. I think two people could do it if that was their job for 40 hours a week.
Well,
But
we talked about that being.
But
paid
you
to
take
do it.
that
Absolutely.
money. But I mean, if you have a social media campaign where you're shooting little advertisements out there, just enough to keep the bunny huggers interested and say, we're uh, America for Mountain Lions, LLB, whatever it is. And then you have a giant campaign ad that you pay a lot of money for on Facebook. And everybody who's scrolling on Facebook, all these bunny huggers are going to heart it. And you've got to advertise it to the PETA people and all of that stuff. And and that's why I say the person that does this needs to not be a houndsman. The person that does this has to not be a houndsman. And you can go.
It has to be a lobbyist. It has to be a person like a lobbyist that's their job. And a lobbyist, half the time a lobbyist goes out there, they just know what's going on. They don't exactly believe in it, right?
Well, I'm not talking so much about lobbyists. I'm just talking about raising the money. I'm not talking about the fight itself.
No, I'm saying the person that does it almost has to be like a lobbyist that knows exactly the language and what's going on and be smart about it. Like Dan Gates, right?
No, it doesn't need to be a Dan Gates. It needs to be a 26-year-old girl that just got out of college with a media degree to be our social media ad pusher. She doesn't need to have any skin in the game at all. She signs a non-disclosure agreement when she takes the job, and she goes to work running these ads. She does not need to be
someone
one of us.
pushing these ads, and it's got to be going. It can't be the antidote of the houndsmen or the people. It's got to be going all over Facebook and get all of these cute, beautiful pictures of mountain lions and a little low cub that's wet and in the rain and shivering like this and help
Sarah McLaughlin playing.
Yes. And help us save the mountain lions. they don't need to know where the money's going after that. And then
And how
for
we're going to
for
save
legal
money with it.
purposes, you're going to have to donate. You could fund some studies in different places. You could fund all this, but more importantly, you could take the 80% required from that fund and put it to a hound organization. And then you can have
You
the
got
same
me
thing for
thinking.
bears.
I'm gonna have me a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
My own personal use.
And a person setting them up in GoFundMe's, and it has to be worded right. You have to say, I mean, for example, help us save the mountain lions. Help us fund studies to determine extent of mountain lion hunting regulations. And you're going to have to play with that wording a little bit. And you almost need to flirt on the line of you're full of shit, but you could get all of these freaking bunny huggers would give the money.
Cody, I know you've met Chris. He is full of shit.
Yeah. And,
Guys, I'm
click
gonna go to
here,
bed.
donate it. See you
See you,
tomorrow,
Benny.
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 Hey, Cody, give me a call tomorrow when you've got time.
I'll sure do it.
All right.
Thanks,
See ya.
Benny. And then you need it in the East. You need it for all kinds of animals. You maybe need to have 12 different nonprofit organizations funneling all this stuff together. And in my opinion, you have operating costs. You're paying a person to do this or this or that, whatever. And you just need to start putting money away. Money needs to start going in a money market account, drawing interest and putting it all in there. And I think that could be done by just a couple of people.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a YouTube brain with algorithms and what works. And you just kind of need to hide the fact that we're hunters, that the organ, and that's why I say it needs to be set up by a person that doesn't come back to the hound hunting rendezvous when they're searched,
Yeah.
and but you can, but those other organizations can then donate the money to the American Working Dog Alliances. And that money funnels 2 or 3 times, and then it comes to your hands. And then all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and you got $100,000 that got sent to you from this nonprofit, that got sent from that nonprofit, that got donated by a freaking PETA advertisement.
And it's 100% legal.
I'm
Yes.
starting to wonder about you, Cody.
That's how we beat them. Though we beat them with
He's
beat
right,
them
yeah.
with bunny hugger money.
Yeah. I think it can be done. Now,
Oh,
like
it
I
can
said,
be done. It
it's
can be
easy.
done.
It's easy for me to sit here and say this shit. And obviously there's got to be some fine tuning. But that's the only way. You're not going to raise enough money from Houndsman to fight it
No.
on 50 different states. You're not going to do it.
No,
You're
the number one enemy to that is time.
And
Period.
especially when Robert wins all the freaking drawings everybody's going to
I
get
know.
pissed
Yeah.
off and quit buying tickets.
They think that we're setting it up, but
I don't know. I don't know if he's in here tonight, but
He was.
We're
I
just
told him
hoping
he's
he
not
gets
allowed.
snowed in and his internet gets knocked out whenever we.
all
say
them guys
drawing.
do that. You think the Clinton Foundation doesn't funnel shit through 10 different freaking nonprofits and directly into Hillary Clinton's freaking bank account?
Yep.
And every one of them paying her a $400,000 a year salary?
Mhm.
And that's how these rich freaking scheming bastards do it, man. And it's the same way with exactly, Randy. Beat them at their own game.
And don't think they're not doing it to us.
No, politicians are doing it all the time. I guarantee you've got people. You've put money somewhere that's funding Democrats, and you don't even know it. I
Who's
guarantee.
ever bought a coffee? Who's ever bought a Starbucks?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. We've everyone been to Starbucks or Dutch Bros. well, then we've all funded the enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you ever shopped at a pet store, PetSmart, Petco, Chewy.com, any of that
Funding
stuff?
the enemy.
Funding the
Chewy's
enemy.
a big one. Chewy's
Yep.
a
Got a
big one.
Facebook account.
Yeah, you got Facebook. Yeah, we all got Facebook, Instagram. all that shit.
Them guys could be donating proceeds to the American Wildcat Foundation and not even know. And the Wildcat Foundation is donating proceeds to the Southern American Mountain Lion Foundation, who is donating proceeds to the American Working Dog Alliance.
Yep. And nobody has to know any of that other stuff
And
because we don't know.
you legitimately fund studies.
Yeah.
And then you have an out. So we give the money to Chris, and then Chris goes down at the end of the year and has a big banquet. American Working Dog Alliance provides a $10,000 check to the Arizona State University for mountain lion research.
Yep.
Now it's all legal, and it's all been done, and I think that's how it's got to. I think that's how it's got to be done. But the person who's going to set it up, like Chris, and you look into those nonprofits, and there's limits on what people can pay. But you're going to have to pay Chris $150,000 a year to just do this. To just do this. And then you're going to have to partner with some few people to set up some of these other stuff here and there. And I thought about that as well, Rick. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about that as well. You may want to just delete this when we get done. Maybe this is the one episode that don't
go to podcast.
Yeah.
Don't get posted on YouTube. And either way, even if they are like, which I'm sure they're listening right now. Even if they screen recorded the whole episode, they're never going to spend the billions it would take to get this ad in front of the people that are going to make the donations when they see the baby bobcat kitten pop up.
They won't know where it's from because they won't know what the organizations are, and it needs to be
right.
It needs to be different. It's separate. I mean,
because we don't know, like,
And
what's
multiple.
his name? Russ McSpadden, right? We don't know the guy who writes the guy's check, who writes the guy's check, who writes his check. We don't know if that guy drinks Pepsi or Coke. We don't know who he is.
That's
right.
Exactly
how it's got to be.
And
we don't know if that guy hunts. That guy might be a damn chucker hunter.
Where I've seen a lot of it is working for these big corporate companies. And it's like, I'll get a check and it'd be like, who the hell is that check from? And it's so-and-so doing business as, so-and-so doing business as, so.
DBA.
And it's just this long list of, and it's BS, it's BS, but it's what you got to do to win.
Yep.
And you can see the mountain lion grants available private and future funding. Those will collect info only, release the info that suits their agenda. 100% exactly right. They don't want data. They just want to outlaw hunting.
They want the data so they can put it away and only make public what they need to make public.
Yeah. And these organizations can get big enough where they provide a lot of money for mountain lion conservation, because the fact of the matter is there's 4 people on this screen right now that care more about mountain lion conservation than any bunny hugger, because if there's no mountain lions, we can't hunt them. If there's no bobcats, we can't run them. I guarantee you, I have a more vested interest in bobcat population than any bunny hugger.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. But we gotta play their game, or we're just.
Then you're gonna have to fund all that money together, and you're gonna have to pay a lobbyist, and it's just money. At the end of the day, it's just money. I don't care what anybody says. It's just money. You don't need to find a way to fight the antis. You need to find a way to raise millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fact. Because
100% fact.
you got
right
enough
here.
money. You got enough money. You can go hire a lobbyist that go sit down with Donald Trump tomorrow and sort this shit out, or go sit down with Gavin Newsom, and there's all kinds of stuff to that. But it's money.
Yeah.
This is a
Gotta
money
afford-
game.
Got to be able to afford to get the guy who can get the lunch dinner with the guy that can sign his name on the paper to fix the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's
even if it's a
really-
future battle, imagine raising $100,000 a year would be very, very simple. Imagine what raising $100,000 a year invested into the money market accounts would do for someone trying to fight this problem 40 years from now.
Yeah.
It's a win. It's a win in a bottle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could raise money now for our kids to have millions of dollars to fight this in the future.
Amen, Jeremiah.
That's right.
Now is especially with his sons and how much they're hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know how but there's ways. But in my opinion, that's where it's got to be done. It's got to be protected on a federal level.
Yes, sir.
But then they just regulate it to death. They say, okay, hound hunting cannot be made illegal federally. Okay, well, y'all can all do it on the 2nd of February every other year, and then we're screwed.
Crazy said Trump has a beagle. Misty, be happy.
Who's this guy?
So
Explain yourself.
go back to that comment really quick that you just posted. Tim, Cody, where I run bobcat, I was catching 60 to 100 cats a year. As of last year, I only caught 3 bobcat in that area. A trapper took 88 bobcats out of that year in 2 years. How many did you harvest, Tim? Where do you live?
Idaho.
Idaho. So you're hunting an area and you're treeing them and leaving them alone, and a trapper came in and wiped them out. Yeah,
Got a troll. Someone trying to start trouble behind a screen is about it.
Me is here. Hound hunting is for sissies. Tell me you never did it before without telling me you never did it before.
Or tell me you're a troll living in mommy's basement without telling me you're a troll.
That's rustic.
Northwest Oregon. Oh, there you go.
Cody
fucking
Queen.
It's fucking bone pile.
Probably is bone pile.
That was my nickname in the 3rd grade, man. Cody Queen. I couldn't help it.
Yeah. Who was it? Steve Thomas. I seen a thing where he posted that you always have that one friend. That means here is that one person. The intelligence level unlocked.
Got that room temperature IQ right there.
Mm-hmm.
We need some retired houndsmen to say this would be a good job to get some college kids involved.
Is there a such thing as a retired houndsman?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of college kids that are in the forestry or husbandry program too.
I'll tell you who y'all need to talk to get some information is Alan Listdahl from Minnesota. He comes down and hunts with me once or twice a year. He doesn't really hunt anymore. He's had some health issues, but he has been extremely involved with the governor and all kinds of stuff up there and certain political laws, some hunting laws, and he does have a lot of knowledge about how that stuff goes.
Well, that's your network. You have to create a network to do what you're talking about, and you have to start small.
Well, that's
You have to start with
it's
the
all
janitor.
about contacts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who you
Oh,
know.
we're not going to kick you off. We like idiots.
Yeah, we'll mess with you.
Thank you for the engagement, Sally.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're right.
But it's a hell of a lot easier said than done, boys.
It is, and it's like I said, it's the time. Even for me to just sit down and start it, because I got a big job down here now. So it's hard to take that time when I'm busy all day. So, when anything else I do, like for AWDA, I've kind of slacked because I'm busy feeding my family.
Yeah.
So you do have to find the right people that have the time and have some connections or can make some connections.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, I can tell you that,
Probably so.
I forget what I was going to say now. Oh, I could tell you, and the other thing could be through some private funding stuff. I mean, I know SCI, they donated $100,000 to fund some studies in different groups and stuff down here. Some partnerships with groups like that, and
That's the ticket right there.
yeah, and then and they would probably be a lot more apt to donate to it if they knew that kind of behind the scenes it was going towards hunting rather than PETA,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, it's a big network with a bunch of people. And
I
What
think
did we
first
do?
thing we
What did
got
we
to
do
do.
tonight? What did we do tonight? We put, and if they are, Rick, I told you they watch this every week. Yeah, they watch it every week. They've already looked me up. I've already had to send a letter to people saying you need to redact or you're going to get a formal letter from somebody you don't want to get. And they did. They redacted it. So they already know who I am, who I talk to. But what they do now is now they have to go on the defense. Now they have to watch out for that stuff, and they don't know where it is. So
And
we
they'll
might
never
just be
find it.
talking shit to get them to. So when they're looking at us trying to find out what we're doing, right? That takes time away from what they have to do. So now they have to go on the defense. They have to figure out what we're going to do. No one cares who you are. I mean, if you had any set of balls, Mr. Mia's here, you just put your name on it. Period.
Yeah. We all love
So-
chicken shits.
But
You will. You will. I'll know who you are. How do you know I don't? I hope you have a good VPN because even VPNs can be tracked.
it don't even matter. I think first we got to just start taking steps. First thing we got to do, I think, is go American instead of Arizona. Quit shoehorning ourselves, or pigeonholing ourselves. I don't know. You know what I mean? But go American, and then we gotta find us figure out the process for our donation funnel, and then finding a social media, coordinator or whatever. That's not going to be the hard part. I think
let me
that's
tell
pretty
you
easy.
something else too. I have a very good personal friend of mine that is a grant writer, and that's what he does for a living. And we had a conversation one time, and I asked him, I said, man, if I started a nonprofit where I wanted to like collar some lions and collar some bobcats and do some studies or something, do you think that I could win any grants? And his response to me was millions if you set it up right and had a grant writer that knew how to write it. And there is a lot of federal government money that's available in the form of grants that's no one even applies for it. 10,000 here, 50,000.
there's
All he
money.
does is people hire him to write grants, and he gets a percentage of what he gets you.
Yeah. Yep.
But you got to have the foundation for that,
Well, let's make it happen.
you got to have you got to have a study going on somewhere, which is easy to do. You apply for a permit with the state, and in Texas, you don't even need a permit at the time. They're trying to change that, but
Well, I can.
Sign
I'll
me up,
tell you.
Cody.
yeah,
Since we're just spilling the beans, I'll tell you this: is there is things happening that I'm working on, and a lot of it is down next to people who ain't going to want me down there. So, and I am
Yeah.
going to use their money because I've already set it up. So, I mean, it's there. There's a lot of ideas, and you got to get people like us to get involved so we can get people that aren't like us
Yes,
to do
absolutely.
the work.
Absolutely.
So,
It needs to be somebody's little sister or somebody's cousin or, somebody set up one of these deals,
as soon as the spots are filled, Jeremiah, you asked when this drawing was, and we don't got. I don't even think we got 10 or 12 spots filled yet. Everybody's broke. They're hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It don't matter if they know who. It's not as dangerous as you think, but I think his phone died. Not as dangerous as you think. I mean, unless they're crazy, but there's crazy people. I drive through Phoenix every day.
I'm not so much worried about them crazy, but
Y'all
I,
don't know
I,
fucking dangerous.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time scrolling Facebooks and stuff and contacting law enforcement and turning, guys like us in for even things we didn't do wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Cody, you better get to bed. Don't you got
That's-
4 in the morning?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
It yeah, I'm fixing
Well,
to
thanks for
head
coming
out.
on. Thanks for riling us up again. And
Yeah, you sent that link to me again, and
I know
I
it's like
was
dangling candy in front of a kid.
I was driving home, and I was riding home. Tate was driving, and I was in the passenger seat. And then when he got here, I walked from the gate up to the house, and I was listening to y'all. And I looked at the house, and I looked at the kennels, and I was listening to y'all. And I went, "All right, bastards, y'all got me all riled up now. Let me go."
I'll jump on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I should have
Hour
went
later.
straight to bed.
Yeah.
Well, holler at me sometime, Cody.
I do. I've been wanting to
Oh,
call
oh.
you, man. I've just been so busy.
Yeah.
We have been too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been nonstop.
Yeah, me too, man.
So
All right, guys.
we'll see y'all my story.
Thank you, sir. All right, everybody. I guess we're done, huh, Jeremy?
I guess if you say so.
Yeah, I better get to bed. So,
Yeah.
Cold Strike Gear, go check them out. ColdStrikeGear.com. They sponsor the show. Value Pack Dog Food sponsor the show. And
That's good stuff too.
It is specialty-feeds.com, or just look up Value Pack, and then you can find a dealer near you. Arizona Working Dog Alliance helps with the show, sponsors the show, and Full Cry Magazine. Go check out Jeremy's videos, Louisiana Hunting on YouTube. He's posting way more than I am. I've been busy, but I'm going to start posting.
Not
again.
lately. About every other week here lately.
Life gets in the way. So, but if anybody's interested in helping out, putting together something like Cody's talking about, send me an email. Anecdote of a Houndsman actually just send it to azwda@outlook.com. AZWDA. Do I got that written down somewhere? Probably not. No. AZWDA@outlook.com. Join up. If you got ideas to put the other side down, let us know. Other than that, I will see you another time, Jeremy.
Catch you down the road, Chris.
Well, bye.